The notion that we would just arbitrarily, or because of politics, punish those kids when they didn't do anything wrong themselves, I think would be something that would merit me speaking out.
And that was President Obama in his final news conference before he left office in January on what it would take to bring him out and start speaking during the Trump presidency. Well, that condition may be met today, as President Trump is expected to announce.
A non-announcement.
A non-announcement.
Actually, a distraction.
Because that's the thing.
It's not really an announcement. It's like a huge news conference that you're all supposed to watch at 11, and then it actually isn't anything that's happening.
It could be an announcement. It might be a transgender-like tweet. It's a distraction.
Fake news.
Anyway, today he may be announcing that he's ending an Obama-era program that allows undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children to stay in this country.
Everyone should be shocked right now. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is set to hold a briefing on the program known as DACA at 11 this morning. Two sources tell NBC News that the president's decision to end the program that he's actually not going to end today will come with a 6-month delay.
But they also stress the weekend, this is very important.
This is important.
The decision is not final until it's announced.
But I thought they were announcing it today.
Well, but the base has already thought, hey, okay, he ended the DACA program.
So this is just sort of messaging to the base, but it isn't actually that something that's
hold on. Let's get some help from the table here.
Yeah, let's look
John
deep into
Heilman,
the
this would be
president's
like,
eyes.
let's say,
exactly
for instance, your former campaign manager had his home raided at 6 a.m. in the morning, right? And that
transgender.
And that was going to be big news.
Yeah.
So
transgender.
A couple of hours later, you say, I am now banning all transgender personnel
when you're
from
really
serving in the military, to which the Joint Chiefs go,
no, we're not.
What?
This is a little bit different than that, merely in the sense that this is actually something where his hand is being forced by reality. The transgender thing was kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Right.
He's like, there were no pending court cases. He was not under any real pressure to do that. That was a pure distraction of the kind you're discussing.
Right. A blurt.
Today seems like, again, we don't know what Jeff Sessions is going to say. It is sort of extraordinary given the high profile of this issue, the level of controversy attending to it, how much pressure Trump's been under, his public wavering about the issue, that he's going to send Jeff Sessions out rather than speaking to it himself. And then he's going to have Jeff Sessions out and not take questions on whatever it is he's going to unveil today. Kind of an amazing
but it's not an unveiling.
way of approaching it. Well, we'll see.
It's 6 months.
But Julie,
we'll see.
But Julie Pace, this is not the ending of the program. This is the president kicking the can down the road for 6 months. This is Donald Trump. I think it was Maggie Haberman who correctly said, there's always a lawsuit coming around the corner. There's always like a huge press conference 2 weeks from now. There's always a new bill since he's been president of the United States that we're going to unveil next week. It's like, look over there. It is the James Carville, look at a bird, look at a bird.
Oh my God.
While something's going on in front of your face.
A kindergarten bird.
He's not going to get his wall. And so what does he do? He distracts with an announcement that, Julie, could it just well be a non-announcement because this DACA program will not end in 6 months?
It certainly could be a non-announcement. It could be one of those announcements, if what we've been hearing over the weekend is right, where he basically says, I'm planning to end this, but only in 6 months and only if Congress doesn't act. I think the problem, though, just in terms of the practicality of the program, is that you're going to create this huge amount of uncertainty among these dreamers, this 800,000 dreamers who are around the country, who are working, who are in school, who are serving in the military. Do some of them choose to leave the country rather than wait to see what happens over the next 6 months? Do folks who have not enrolled in this program hold back from doing it because they don't want to give the government their personal information in case the program does end? So even if he doesn't really end DACA now or in 6 months, it is going to create a lot of uncertainty, and I think it's going to be pretty damaging for the country.
It's the president participating once again in a form of bullying, making people feel incredibly uncomfortable by using his words that actually aren't backed up by reality, but do the trick of bullying people.
Well, he's actually politically, he's just playing to his base, just like the transgender ban, doing something that looks like he's taking aggressive action.
But
in
he's
fact,
not.
All he's doing is, with the transgender ban, passing it on to General Mattis and with DACA, he's passing it on to Congress. By the way, there are people that say this is so important, it shouldn't be done in an executive order. Congress should step up. And by the way, all the whining on Twitter, my God, members of Congress, stop using Twitter like you don't have a voting card. And if you're in the leadership, no more tweets about dreamers, all right? Put legislation on the floor and pass it. These members of Congress tweet as if they have no power. It's just, seriously, you know what? They need to go to the Wizard of Oz and get courage, because they have none right now.
There's one other way.
We've got a very powerful former member of Congress
look at
right
him.
here, Harold Ford.
yes.
He has courage. He is a man of courage.
He's a man of courage. You're right.
Gentleman from Tennessee.
A lot of tweets, a lot of innuendos, a lot of senior House leadership sources tell us, let's see some legislation if they're serious
Paul
about
Ryan
it.
is offended by
Right,
that.
Paul Ryan,
Mitch
Mitch McConnell. We have seen people like James Lankford. Obviously, he's no progressive Democrat. He go out and say, we as Americans do not hold children legally accountable for the actions of their parents. A lot of Republicans, Harold, coming out and saying this is a bad idea, even with this 6-month caveat that means it may not actually happen.
Julie said it well regarding this uncertainty. You have over a dozen states that are filing lawsuits. It's unclear. I guess if you are in the Trump administration, you're trying to craft this agreement or craft this statement in a way where you can avoid these states having standing to move forward. But the uncertainty certainly won't go away. I'll be curious to hear his comments. Second, with regard to the military, one of the more astonishing things after Charlottesville was that you had the leadership of all the branches of the military come forward and say, look, we accept and are thankful for all of the participation service of our service members. In a lot of ways, a direct rebuke of the president. Will be curious to see if they do something very similar on that front. Then you add the rest of the stuff, and I hope I get a chance to comment on North Korea because I have a question from my dear pal Richard Haas here. But when you look at the debt ceiling, you look at the budget resolution, and you look at what's obviously occupied the minds and the labor of so many Americans, Hurricane Harvey, right. They now have to deal with that. And Joe and I both understand it creates some pressures and perhaps some opportunities for Congress to, number one, get around this threat that the president made that if you don't support my wall, we won't move forward with the budget resolution. It may give the president an opportunity to save face, to move beyond that. And two, it may give a vehicle for some of these other things to be done. Small tax reform, small parts of the tax reform bill, obviously the debt ceiling and some sort of budget resolution or continuing resolution. So to be curious to see how they balance what clearly, I cannot remember, I'm only 47, but I don't remember when I was in Congress, a plate this big and this consequential returning from an August recess.
Here's the good news. If you have people that actually know how to legislate, if you've got great
that's
leaders.
a big if word.
It's a big if. I think Mitch probably knows how to.
I would agree with that.
But if you have people that know how to legislate, sometimes the more things that are in your inbox give you more opportunities.
I would agree.
To spread out a large deal, a big deal, and give everybody something that they want, or at least give 218 House members something they want. Maybe Paul Ryan, and all the things that are in front of him, will say, yes, we'll give you this tax cut, but you're going to have to raise the debt ceiling. Yes, we're going to give you this tax cut, but you're going to have to pass DACA and make it permanent. So there are a lot of challenges, but
and then Senator McCain is leading the reauthorization of the defense bill and is asking for a bigger number, which it's likely he will get. I hope he gets as well.
And what did the president spend the August recess doing, though, Joe? Attacking Republicans. The Republicans he's going to need to get all these things done that Harold just laid out.
Well, and he and his family went to Houston and really reached out to people. It was nice of all of them to go.
Well, yeah, the president and the first lady did go to Houston, but Bob Corker, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, it was an August recess spent by the president going after the very people he needs to get anything done.
Well, you also had quite a few leaders of the Republican Party and significant public officials, and 60% of Americans, not me, not me, I just want to be very clear here, but just for the record, a Fox News poll and the head of the Foreign Relations Committee and several others questioning his stability. Not me.
I did it a long time ago.
Solid as a rock.
Whatever. No.
Look at that. He's solid as a rock. But 60% of Americans. So this has been, John Heilman, if you want to pass legislation, this has been one of the most poorly used August recesses I could imagine for the president, because as Willie said, he has spent it declaring war on Bob Corker, screaming at him on the phone, Jeff Flake,
I think there's McCain.
screaming on the phone to the most powerful man in Washington, D.C., who would be Mitch McConnell, attacking John McCain, who is fighting a brain tumor. I could go on, but I
listen,
really
that's
think
not
that's
crazy.
We only have
I just
2 hours
say.
and 2.5 hours left of the show, so we don't want to go on that list. Could take up the rest of the time.
That's not unhinged.
Yeah.
No, look, this would have been a complicated, as Harold said, just if you think back to our recent memory, this would have been one of the most complicated, challenging periods for any president. If you were LBJ, if you were Richard Nixon,
right,
and master legislative strategist from the White House, you would have had a really difficult thing to deal with here. Donald Trump is now going to be having to multitask in a way he's never been had to take on in his whole career in the time that he's been alive on planet Earth. So if you think about the way he set the table for that period, he raised the degree of difficulty for someone who has not exhibited much skill in this area so far, rather than lowering the degree of difficulty. So we'll see how it turns out.
You know, the best thing he could do, Mika, and I'm serious, is over the next month, if he wants things done on Capitol Hill, and I know Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan would agree with me, is go down to Houston and just do relief work for a month, have his phone taken away, and stay out of Washington, D.C., and come back to sign the bills. Because he actually makes Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and the Republicans in the House and the Senate, he makes their jobs much more difficult. If I'm Lisa Murkowski and I'm insulted by, and threatened, that's a no vote. Yep. That's a no vote. You bring it back later, boys, but that's a no vote. If I'm Jeff Flake, I'm just looking for a chance to elbow this guy. And yeah, okay, if I lose my primary, that's fine. I'm running against him in 2020. Jeff Flake's already said the way he's acting shows that he's going to have a challenge in 2020. He needs to stay out of the way and let Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan do their jobs.
Still ahead on Morning Joe, the
with
president's...
Nancy Pelosi and, of course, Chuck Schumer's help. Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.